Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is The Pool, one of the latest releases from TKO Studios. Fairly interesting science fiction story that kind of checks out, like, what would you do with 6 days left before the world ends. So it's written by Steve Orlando, art by Ricardo, López, Ortiz, Triona, Farrell is the colorist, Thomas Moyer is the letterer. So this story is, there's like an element that's discovered that is kind of like the super element that kind of grants powers to individuals, and it's used to create a police force. One of those people's name is Brenton Dem, who's kind of, the stereotypical brash, cocky cop, winds up getting people killed and, likes to show off his junk. He's nude a lot in this comic. So the use of that element is, and we'll get to the nude in a little bit, use of that element winds up summoning kind of like a devourer of worlds. So think about like us like using gold heavily and Galactus being summoned to come finish us off. It's kind of the general concept of the series. Well, Brenton is pulled into an adventure to try to save the world. His ex-girlfriend is the one who thinks she has a plan to do it. So from there, it's, a globetrotting thing, and they're trying to steal various items to go and try to stop this, like, it's called the Undoer. It's an interesting concept. It's a really interesting series. It does not work for me at all for numerous reasons. One, the storytelling is really choppy at times. Other times it just makes no goddamn sense. Literally, there's like the world's about to end. They just murdered like who knows how many people and decided to have sex on the floor with like tons of bodies around them. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Go save the world, then have sex, I think would be the better concept. So there's moments like that where you're just like, wait, what? And the other is like, there's a lot of good stuff in the comic. It just takes some of these good concepts and just like ignores them after a while. Like, it's a bunch of great concepts thrown out there, but they're all come together, like, doesn't really quite work. I mean, towards the beginning, we learn that there's like a drug that basically people have sex and fuck themselves to death. Really interesting way to go out when the world is about to end. Like, that would be really interesting. What would it be like for cops trying to finish people who are trying to finish themselves? And that would be a really interesting series, like, right? Like, that to me would be kind of fascinating. What do like basically like DEA do when the world's about to end? But no, like, that's only part of the element to just kind of more show how much of an ass Brenton is. There's this idea of this cult who like are convinced the world's gonna end and, seem to kind of be embracing it and trying to go out their own way, but like they're just kind of like bad guy foils. There's like an evil corporation that is trying to save some people. But that, too, is just kind of, like, touched upon as the evil corporation they have to get through. Like, any of these things could be a story by themselves and be a really, really good story, but all come together, it just feels like a really ADHD, nothing is really focused on, all over the place story. A lot of good elements, but they never quite come together to congeal into something that's really entertaining. So, it's kind of out there. There was a lot of times where I was sitting there and I'm like, what is the point of X, Y, and Z? Like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but, like, it's just yet another element thrown in there for unknown reasons. The other is, the art is interesting. It's kind of like Larry Stroman meets manga is the best way of describing it. And at times it gets really, really, like, hard to tell what the hell is going on. So the art, too, is just, like, there's points that's really good, and then other points where I'm not quite sure what's going on. And then there's strange things where, like, here this is Brenton, I'm not convinced Brenton's white here. Like, I thought he might be black, but then you've got things like, or like maybe just not white, and then there's like other things where he's colored a little bit more light skinned and you think he's white, and yeah, it's like here he just looks, well, this is the sex scene, there he's like clearly white, and then she's pretty white, but then there's other scenes where she doesn't look all that white, and it never quite is clear what the hell anyone is, except her father is pretty damn white. it's weird like that. Like, it's just nothing quite consistent, and yeah, it's odd like that. But then there's really great elements. Like, there's some cool. I'm trying to find like what I just looked at was actually really cool and would be great to show off. Like, this is just a very manga inspired. I have to say manga. I don't want to say manga. I'm going to piss people off. Like, that's just really inspired clearly by that. You get this, which is the Endurer coming to the planet, which is kind of cool. You know, there's some nice back and forth in action like this. But there's just a lot of good elements. It just never quite clicks for me, which is sad. I mean, I normally love Steve Orlando stuff. I mean, that's, I think, part of the big thing, part of the reason I was disappointed in this is I feel like he could do better, is kind of what kills me. It's just, it's weird. It's really, really weird. Did not click for me at all. The back has got a bunch of cover art. And that's about it as far as extras. I don't think there's any else in here. I mean, overall, like, it's a really good idea. I love the ending. I actually really, really, really love the ending. I think it was very different for this type of story, and thought it was pretty awesome. But, like, overall, it just feels like this weird Fifth Element meets oh God, what's the one Sylvester Stallone gets frozen and sent to Demolition Man. It feels like Demolition Man meets Fifth Element, with a whole bunch of other stuff thrown in and mixed in with a little manga, and the end result doesn't quite work for me. A bummer, really, really a bummer. You can go get this. We'll have some links underneath this if it really does sound interesting to you. Definitely check it out. It's very different sci-fi. Like, it's unique. Let's go with that. You can go get this now. It's on sale. We'll have some links underneath this video. I think you can get this through comic shops. Not 100% sure. We got a link underneath this video where you can go and find your local comic shop. So at least, give them a hit and try to order through them. If you can't order through them, or if you don't have a shop near you, we'll have some links underneath as well. There'll be some affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage of that. By doing that, you help support our site. Speaking of support, I want to thank TKO Studios for hooking us up with this review copy. Sorry, we can't all be positive. And thank you for watching. Now, if you're into comics, if you're into graphic novels, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.